On Fridays, we check in with the state that always has the weird stuff going on. We call it Friday Fabulous Florida.
It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
You may have heard about the Florida man whose right arm was bitten off by a 10-foot alligator.
Yikes.
Yeah, it happened. In Florida's gator-infested waters, the dude who had his arm bitten off by the 10-foot alligator has brushed off losing the limb in the attack. He says, that's not the end of the world.
What?
I want whatever he has. Whatever edible Jordan Rivera is on, that's the one I want. He is the chillest guy in all of the world. He fell into a pond. He's 23 years old. The pond is behind Bandito's Bar in Port Charlotte. You know where that is, just down the street from the Whole Foods and the Publix. Yeah.
Sure.
It was 2 a.m. You know, bad stuff happens around 2 a.m. And Jordan fell into this pond.
Where are my weed smokers at?
Yeah. There he is in the hospital. He said, those gators, I didn't truly understand them until I woke up in the hospital and, oh, gator got your arm.
And now you got the message.
Yeah. They got my elbow, so I don't have an elbow, Rivera said. I can still move my arm around and whatnot, he said. The responding crew treated him with this bite. There is the gator, and had to sadly amputate above the elbow of his upper right arm. Bystanders applied a tourniquet to the patient before Jordan arrived at the Gulf Coast Medical Center in Fort Myers.
You know, he was standing at the edge of that pond peeing when the gator ripped off his arm.
Well, that is it's hard enough to find a place to pee sometime.
Well, apparently the line at the bar was too long inside, so went outside to pee.
Yeah. That's a wild idea.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
Well, it worked to relieve the urge, the need, but it didn't work in the other. Apparently, I mean, that gator is 10 and a half feet, as I say. It was euthanized, according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission.
You know what I don't understand about that isn't the alligator just doing what alligators do?
Of course. This is the thing.
So
we
what do
live
we
alongside
expect?
alligators. I'm supposed to allowed to go into the alligator habitat and do what I want without the alligator chomping me? It's not fair. Rivera says that he doesn't remember the attack itself. He remembers going out back, as Kim says, to pee because the line was long inside the bar. And as I was going over there, something happened where I either tripped or the ground below me just went out. I ended up in the water, and that's literally the last thing I remember.
Did you really just do that?
Yeah. He awoke in the hospital, confusion, he said. I was like, whoa, because I just woke up and I was just sitting there. And I looked over and I saw my arm the way it was, and I was like, whoa. That's, he says whoa a lot.
Whoa.
I don't blame him. I'd be saying whoa a lot too.
I was like, whoa, dude, where's my arm?
Yeah. You know what he said to the doctor?
Did you really just do that?
Yeah. That was it. Anyway, I'm glad he made it. Sorry that he loses an arm, and I'm sorry that the alligator loses his life. There is the amputated arm right there. Shark has bitten a Florida angler on a dock. Second incident of the week this week, Kim. It's an epidemic.
What?
A shark has bitten a Florida angler on the foot. Second shark bite incident of the week, according to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. This dude's 35 years old, fishing from a dock on Flagship Drive in Summerlin Key. You know where that is.
Right
near
by the
the
Whole Foods. Yeah.
Whole Foods and Publix in that little shopping area. The shark was reportedly out of the water and on the dock
What?
when it bit the angler.
What are you
Wow.
talking
That's
about?
not fake. That's real.
The man was flown to Jackson South Medical Center in Miami. You know where that is. It's near the Whole Foods and the Publix. His condition not known. A day earlier, a 20-year-old Miami-Dade County man was bitten by a shark while spearfishing. Maybe these sea creatures have just had enough of this crap. Kevin Blanco diving off the coast of Marathon when a bull shark bit him on the leg. He actually bit me twice, says Kevin Blanco. It was probably anywhere from 9 or 10 feet and 500 pounds, Blanco said. Shark bites in Florida are rare, usually not life-threatening. They advise taking safety precautions if you're headed out into the water or near the water. Florida man crashes his car into, and here is the Florida part, a 14-foot bunny sculpture, everybody.
What?
Yeah. It's the second time that Derek Allen Modruck damages a public artwork. This is reportedly not motivated by his poor driving, but motivated by his dislike of Wilton Manor's late mayor. This is personal animus that this man has, and he's destroying public displays of art as a result.
That's not cool.
I agree. You know what Whoopi said?
Did you really just do that?
In a perplexing case of public art vandalism, police in Wilton Manors, Florida, arrest a man this week after surveillance footage shows him deliberately driving his car into a 14-foot blue bunny sculpture in a local park. We have it up there now. It's not so bad. How could you not like a blue bunny? Camera footage from nearby confirmed that this dude drove his car into the large bunny. The damaged artwork, titled Thunder Bunny, features 30,000 glass tiles that are put together to make this bunny on top of a metal base. It's the work of Hunt Slunham, who's known for these brightly colored depictions of rabbits, butterflies, tropical birds. They've taken shape in the form of paintings and large-scale sculptures. We're showing a few of them now on YouTube. My hope was to uplift the world, the artist said. This isn't the first time one of his works was damaged because of these circumstances. I had a mural at the World Trade Center that was destroyed when the buildings collapsed. That was devastatingly upsetting. Things happen, he says. We're not immune to lots of unusual activities in the world. He's taking it in kind of a good way. But they think that this was fueled by anti-LGBTQ plus bias. But
Is the bunny gay?
when officers asked the offender, the guy who drove into the sculpture, his motivation, he explained that he was driven by his dislike for the late mayor of this community, Justin Flippin. He said the park was named after Flippin, and so he doesn't like anything in this park. The artist says he's going to continue his art practice. He will not be held down by this. But he is saddened by this entire incident.
How much do you think that blue bunny is valued at?
That's a great question. I would say it's, I'm going to say it's a, would you say what, 70,000, maybe $100,000?
That blue bunny, Mark, is valued at $300,000.
Wow, that's very impressive. A Florida man who's 40 years old is behind bars right now as we speak. Why? He left the scene of a crash, and that in itself wouldn't qualify for Friday Fabulous Florida. But it was how he left the scene of the crash that makes it a qualifier this week. He flipped his car in the crash, and then he hailed a taxi to get out of there before the cops arrived. I mean, that is...
Well, how sad is it that the taxi arrived before the cops? Yeah. I mean, what does that say?
You're right. You're right.
Or maybe it happened to be driving by and he just flagged it down. I don't know.
Florida Highway Patrol trooper said that the 40-year-old Carlos Santi was behind the wheel of a blue Cadillac. He slammed into a gray Mini Cooper in Miami-Dade. He was propelled into the concrete barrier wall. It overturned. Pretty big crash. He was chasing his car that was stolen, he said, from a gas station. That's what he told cops. He could not provide a description of the car thief or the gas station that it was taken from. So it didn't, he had some holes in his story. Didn't really seem to have it all worked out.
You do not know what you are talking about.
Exactly. There was a quality of that to it. But it was cool that he could get a cab. It's a sign that you can really get a cab in a hurry in Florida. That's kind of cool. A Florida man is accused of stealing endangered tortoises and rare comics.
No.
Worth thousands. Didn't we have this story? I feel like we did this last week. Although this might be a different crew. But this is the guy who was working for the Florida Corrections Department.
Oh, yeah, I think we did have that one. Mm-hmm.
Is this the same? I hope it's the same guy. Otherwise, it's just like everybody's stealing tortoises down there. So let me just move to the last story. A Florida man has died, my friends, and I'm sorry, it happens. He was working on his roof during a thunderstorm, an electrical storm. Yeah.
Did you really just do that?
Yeah, it's not always the best thing to do. I'm sad for him, don't get me wrong. Please don't let anything about my tone or about the way we're talking about this story in any way suggest that I'm being flip about the loss of life. 24 years old, framing a home in Deltona on Monday afternoon. The thunderstorm moved through, and he was struck by lightning. A lightning bolt hit him, left him stunned. Then he fell through a hole in the roof and passed away. I'll leave the rest of the details aside, but he essentially was melted to death.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. But I can't tell you anything more about it because I think he'll be... it's a little too intense.
What can you tell us about the scene?
I've told you all I can about the scene, Larry. Nothing more. And so we finish with that bizarre piece of Mother Nature. There's a lot of Mother Nature in Friday Fabulous Florida today. We don't like to do it. We don't want to do it. It's like picking between children. But there is a shot of those powerful electrical storms, those thunderstorms that form in Florida. You can see it right now on YouTube if you're watching. Let's quickly review these stories, and we'll pick a favorite. And again, you may have your favorite. Please enter it into the chat now. And if you're watching us in replay, enter it into the chat in replay. I'll remind you of the stories we've just heard. The Florida man who shrugs off losing his arm in the alligator attack. Remember, he had to go out back to pee. Didn't want to wait on that line in the bar. It's not the end of the world, he said. The shark that bites the Florida angler on the foot. Second shark bite incident of the week. The shark was on the dock when he was hooked, reeled up onto the dock, and then he bit the guy on the leg. A Florida man crashed into a 14-foot bunny sculpture. He did it deliberately. He's angry about the former mayor and the fact that the park was named after him. A Florida man has hailed a taxi to get away from the hit and run in which his car completely flipped. And the Florida man who's passed away, sadly, after being struck by lightning while working on the roof. It's still a freak accident, and the freakishness of it qualified it for Friday Fabulous Florida. And I'll also say that the lightning storms in Florida are and tend to be quite ferocious sometimes. And for that reason, it's very Florida as well. Kim, your favorite, please.
This is
Kim,
a
how are
really
you?
difficult one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go typically with the gator. I have to go with the gator.
The gator that bites the guy's arm off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy thinks it's like, it's fine. It's all right.
Yeah, the guy seemed pretty chill about it, which is a
Yeah.
really cool way to be. You know? Gotta love that.
Morning.
Yeah. It's between, for me, the gator and the guy hailing a taxi to flee from the hit and run.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
It's so ballsy but for pure Floridian power, it's the gator. Yeah, it's the gator. Right. It's being asked in the chat, why couldn't they just rehome the gator? Why do they have to euthanize? And that's the question that we always ask. But and I got to say, the shark bite on the dock. Maybe I'm you know what? I'm changing my vote to the the shark bite on the dock, because it's freakish and I love sharks, and they are endangered in parts of the world. So
and don't you think though that I don't blame the shark?
oh, of course not.
The shark
the
was
shark
hauled
was
up
actually
out of its habitat
yeah,
and fighting for its life.
absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. Shark was actually caught on the line and yanked up onto the dock. Damn right. Damn right. I'm sure he's sorry that he didn't do more damage.
Sayonara, sucker!
Yeah, that's Friday Fabulous Florida for today.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now here.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.